Hello there, it's me, Lou Holtz. Believe it or not, a friend of mine who happens to be the commissioner of the league asked if I could head his team just to make sure that things were fair. Of course, as you noticed, I forgot my glasses today, as also I forgot my pants. But no one knows just because I'm sitting down. So, as I realize, as every team is giving an analysis of each and every team, it doesn't really matter if you know anything about basketball. I know very little about basketball, but I have read a couple books. They weren't about basketball, but I did read them. Well, let's continue and discuss each and every team. I want to first say that you obviously know my subjectivities toward Notre Dame. My subjectivity towards the Double Rim Bandits is exactly the same. I cannot stress to you enough how good this basketball team is going to be this year. But I can't go on and continue to talk about the best team in the league, so let's look at some of the other teams in the league. The Lincoln High Rail Splitters are a very interesting squad because they have a lot of guys who can get in trouble off the court more so than on the court. A guy like Melo World Peace and a guy like Darko Milicic cannot exist in the same locker room. Fair and simple, he's got to make some sort of a move. Chris Humphries, more off the field than on the field. His drama is all about Kim Kardashian. I don't know who that is, but somebody told me about him. Well, looking at other teams, we'll take a look at, Doug Bissoni. I heard about this guy, Doug Bissoni, and people tell me he is a wonderful, wonderful man. He reminds me a lot of myself when I was a kid. I used to ride my bike and have a basket in the front of it and carry my football everywhere. I never played, but I coached, and I coached well. He's got a guy like Nene. Nene is a special player. He really is. That's all I have to say. We can keep going on and on about all of these teams. Let's see. We can look at a team like, we'll look at Tim Tebow's Ricky Rubio's. I love Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow and the Florida Gators were a special bunch of players. What unfortunately occurred was when they lost to Alabama. Nick Saban could go rot in hell for all I care. But this team is special because it has more Knickerbockers than any other team in the league. And let me tell you, I love the Knickerbockers. They're a favorite of mine because they don't play defense. I love points in basketball, and that's what they give me. Okay, let's continue. Hold on one moment. Oh, right. The Too Soon Sandusky's. I can't even go into it. It's a personal issue. ESPN has told me I cannot discuss a team with a name that affiliates with Jerry Sandusky and the Penn State Nittany Lions. I wish Joe Paterno the best in his recovery. He is a wonderful, wonderful man and a wonderful, wonderful coach. The Ranger Brown Robin Hoops. Love the picture. Don't like very much else about him. Moving on. Let's talk about Batman. He changed his name from Tim Tebow Anal Pledge. Very inappropriate, if you have to ask me. A religious guy such as Tim Tebow doesn't deserve it. I like Devin Harris, though. Devin Harris is a favorite of mine. He won't do well, but I like him as a player. He's got a very interesting look. Let's see here. You know what's interesting that I wanted to bring up to you is that Andre Miller isn't on anybody's team. This guy is a hell of a passer, and he's got a hell of a brain, better than mine, so somebody should pick him up. Let me tell you that. Lefty Long Points. What a confusing name. I don't know what it is that I'm saying, but he has J-Rue Holiday, and a guy that comes from a program like UCLA is destined for good numbers this season. We'll move on to the Evening Showers division. I did speak about Scotch and Cigars, but I haven't spoken yet, and I have spoken about Too Soon Sandusky's, but I haven't spoken about the Walnut Grove 4x4s or Hold Me Closer Tiny Gallon. Hold Me Closer Tiny Gallon. Ricky Rubio, if you can't speak English, how do you expect to play in the league? I don't know how he's going to do it, but hopefully he'll figure out something where he goes to the federal government and gets someone to translate the English language for him. Otherwise, he's going to be a disaster. And he's a starter. Give me a break. Right, the DeLuca Fundamentals are also in this league. The DeLuca Fundamentals. Funny thing, a guy who I know, who knows somebody, talks to me about fundamentals each and every day. The most important thing about fundamentals is passing the basketball. Does he have anybody that could pass the basketball? One guy, Stephen Curry. He's injured. How is he going to pass the ball if he's not playing? He's in trouble early on, but maybe he could bounce back. He does have Jimmer on the bench, but I've never believed that Jimmer could be a pure point guard in this league. Moving on, I forgot to talk about the Walnut Grove 4x4s. You know, being in a small market should be interesting for this team because he's got some guys who really could get in some trouble. But having it being in a small market, the media is not going to pay attention to them. The coverage is going to be strictly about defensive backs in the Walnut Grove 4x4's old fantasy football team back in 2004. I don't know if you know about them. They only had 2 wins. Their defense, they used the Saints' defense. The Saints are not known for their defense. They're known for their offense. They do have Darren Williams. He is an interesting player to watch. I can't believe he left Turkey, though. It's not right. Oh, and we got one more team to discuss, and I have a problem about them because they're a confusing name. Is it Africa or Cadia? You can't be both. I know what it means, but you can't be both. That's all I have to say. I mean, he's got LeBron James, known arguably as the best basketball player. I do not believe he is. I believe Charles Barkley has always been the #1 basketball player, and until someone besides Charles Barkley plays in this league, he will be #1. I'm not sure where I am anymore. I need to leave because I have to change my diaper. Hopefully this was enjoyable for you. Sometimes I slipped out of my impersonation, but I'm doing my best. Thank you all.